Hey Rebels, I'm Ina, and today we're talking to the amazing journalist Lauren Markham. Lauren read us the story of Nayeli Kobo. If you haven't listened to that yet, go check it out after this. It's so good. Hi Lauren, we're so excited you're here. Can you start by telling us about who you are and what you do?
My name is Lauren Markham, and I'm an educator and a writer and a journalist, and I write a lot about immigration rights and about environmental issues in the United States and throughout the world.
That's amazing. Was there a moment growing up that made you want to protect the earth?
When I was 13 years old, I went to Joshua Tree National Park in Southern California, honestly only a couple of hours from where Nayeli grew up. And it was the most magical thing. It was the first place I ever slept outside. It was the first time I ever went backpacking. I went with a school trip. And to this day, it remains one of my most favorite places. It's a magical place and a place that I feel very serious about protecting.
I've been there too. I love seeing all the wildlife there and climbing on the rocks. How did you figure out that you could use your writing to help make a difference?
I always knew I wanted to be a writer because writing was the way that I could most clearly express myself, and also writing was the way that I understood how I felt about something. And what I love most about writing is the feeling that I am both working with my mind, but also engaging with the world around me. I'm going out into the world, asking lots of questions, and then coming back to the page to try to make meaning of it for myself and other people.
Ooh, I totally get that. I journal all the time. How do you combine your love for writing with these issues you care about in your work?
I write a lot about immigration and borders, and that's incredibly important to me because I think writing is a way to address injustices that we see in the world. Just like we saw, Nayeli worked as an activist, and I think journalism can be a form of trying to make change. Our immigration system does a lot of hurt to really innocent people, and I write about that in hopes that I can do a small part in changing that. I also write a lot about the environment because I believe that if we do not have a healthy planet to live on, we will not have happy lives and more injustice will follow. And I write about those things in hopes that we can make a difference and change them.
Those are huge issues to tackle. What do you do when the world's problems feel too big?
When I feel overwhelmed by the state of the world, it really helps me to do something. And whether that's go to a march or pitch a story to a magazine about an issue that feels really important, or whether that's like going and planting something in my garden or calling my representative. When we're feeling despair, action of some kind, some gesture toward the future can really help.
Nice, good idea. For any girls out there thinking, what can I do? What would you tell them?
I mean, we've seen with stories like Nayeli's that kids are really, really powerful. That when kids speak up and say, listen, grown-ups, adults, this is our future. You have to listen to us. In fact, that's pretty compelling and pretty amazing. So lots of schools have groups, lots of schools and communities have groups you can get involved in where you can become advocates and activists for the climate. There are lots of climate marches coming up. There's a big one coming up in September, which is a March for Our Future. And I think the more we can get involved and the more we can talk to one another and the more kids can talk to adults about how vitally important it is to be protecting our future and your future, the more power the climate movement will have.
Speaking of power, you read us the story of Nayeli Kobo. What does her story mean to you?
It is so beautiful to me to read Nayeli's story and see how the actions of one young person over time made a massive difference. Nayeli isn't working alone, right? She's working in community. That's a really important lesson from her. While she is an amazing hero, she's working in collaboration with others. But also she's not giving up, right? It can feel really frustrating how long change can take. But what Nayeli shows us is that we have to be both unrelenting, we can't stop, and we have to be patient, that change takes time. So we have to demand immediate change while also knowing that it might not happen immediately. And I think that's a really beautiful lesson from her story.
What advice would you give to girls who dream of being writers or journalists, just like you?
If you want to become a writer and a journalist, amazing. Please do. We need you. And the best advice I have is to read and read and read, and to write and write and write. Just writing in your journal, just practicing, helps you become friends with the written word and helps you become friends with language so that you can use language as power. And the more we read, the same thing happens, right? We're learning from other people as we read, and we're kind of eating up the way people use language to make beauty and to make meaning and to wrest power.
Definitely. And if you can go back in time, what would you tell your younger self?
I think one piece of advice that I would give my younger self is that you don't have to choose just one thing to be. That all of us are complicated people with many different desires and many different capacities, and that we can be multiple things at once.
That's good to hear, because I have a lot of interests too. And before we wrap up, I have a very important question. What makes you a rebel girl?
I think that what makes me a rebel girl most is that I don't really take no for an answer, and I see obstacles as things to climb over or go around. I also think what makes me a rebel girl is that I don't just take what people in power tell me at face value. Just like Nayeli, right? I don't just hear, oh, well, the oil well's fine. It's not doing any harm to you. I don't just believe that, right? I look into it and I try to get to the bottom of what's really going on.
Thank you so much, Lauren, and thank you for tuning in. Catch you next time, and stay rebel.